Hall of Famer Clyde Drexler. Clyde, how are you, man?
Matt, I'm doing great. We're all kind of out of sorts a little bit, but we're staying diligent and we're just staying ready for anything that may occur.
Yeah, I hear you. I would be remiss if I didn't check on your mom. How's Eunice doing? I haven't talked with her for a few weeks.
Well, she's staying with me this month, and she's doing great, and we're having the best of times. You know, she loves to cook, so I've gained a couple of pounds.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Let's jump into this. I want to first ask you, we're going to talk Rockets and such, but how about the big three? What is the status of the big three at this point? Are you guys taking the summer off? You're the commissioner. What's the word from the commish?
Well, the big three co-founders, Jeff Quantnitz and Ice Cube, have decided that it's in the best interest of our players and our fans to kind of do what most sports are doing right now, which is postpone it until a later date because it's not safe. It's not safe for players or fans. And so it's a smart thing to do. And so we won't be playing this summer. And everyone misses it. We all want to be there. But safety is in the best interest of everyone. And I think it's a great, great decision.
So you'll resume next summer. That's the plan, 2021.
Absolutely, Matt. And we can't wait. The players are eager. You know, the fans are eager. It's the best show of professional basketball in the summer. All our players love it. The fans love it. The coaches are Hall of Fame coaches. And it's a great product. So we're going to miss it. But at the end of the day, safety is a little bit more important, a lot more important.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Well, it's been a huge success. Congratulations on that. Well, let's talk about summertime basketball because here we are, the NBA restart. What do you make of all this?
Well, they got a lot more money, first of all. So they can do some things that we can in the big three. But at the end of the day, Adam Silver and this cast, I don't know how it's going to work out. My first thought is if society has a problem, there's a pandemic, then you're going to have a problem. You can't get – your exceptionalism is not going to get you around that pandemic, right? But if anyone can do it, the NBA can. They got good intentions, and I know the players want to play, as everybody want to play. But is it safe? You know, think about it. If you're Greg Popovich, you're 70 years old. You've worked your whole life. You saved. It's time to enjoy your golden years. And would you put your health in jeopardy for those 2 months to play these games? I mean, that's a tough decision. And so I give those guys a lot of credit for making those decisions. He's braver than I am because I would say, I'd see you when you get back. But for the most part, they got a lot of protocols in place, and hopefully it works out well.
Well, it's like Mike D'Antoni. Mike just turned 69, but you know how competitive Mike is. He wants to be part of this.
Yeah, he does. And I know they don't want to miss it, but at the end of the day, you know, when you come back to your wife and your kids, you want to make sure that it's safe and you're not endangering anyone. And so my fingers are crossed. I hope it works out well for everyone. It's a little risky because a lot can go wrong, but we're all hoping for the best.
Yeah, I think Adam Silver and his guys have been just about as proactive as any pro organization. I think they've got the best plan in place.
Yeah, they really do, and they've got the budget to make it happen as well. They're smart guys, and we're all from the NBA, so you know we really miss it, but we want to be safe. And there's a lot else at stake going on right now with this Black Lives Matter movement for equality for all. I think that's very important, Matt. So we don't want anything to take away from that because we want justice for everyone in this country. That's what makes it a great country, right? Love. Let's show some love.
Well, let me ask you about that because isn't it amazing that the NBA will have a platform? You were always a star. Well, maybe not always a star. We can go back to your junior high days or some of your coaches, but you were a big star, Clyde, in college and the NBA. But let's face it, these guys, because they'll have so many eyeballs on them, they will have a chance to make a statement about what's going on in society.
Yeah, they have a good platform to make that statement, but it's about passing laws. It really is about systemic change. We need police reform in the worst way. We need educational reform, housing reform, employment reform. All of those things need to be made a little bit better for the average American here in this country. I think we're all working hard, and there's enough for everybody. So it's not like you're taking anything from anybody. Let's just do the right thing and make this country what it should be.
Yeah, I agree. So many times we think we're a certain society, and then what we think and what we are two different things, aren't they?
Exactly. And there's no reason for that. I think we're all part of the same race, the human race. So let's make it fair for everyone involved and quit. The system does not work for people of color, minorities in this country. That's, people are fed up with that. It's time for a change.
I know you've been discriminated against before.
Ooh, how many times? How many times? Especially when they don't know who you are, as opposed to when they know who you are.
Yeah.
So, I lived it for, I'm 58 now, 58 years. I grew up in the city of Houston. You got to call it for what it is. And if you try to bring about fairness and justice, you got to call out the inequities. And people who remain silent are complicit because they're not a part of the solution. We all want solutions, and everybody wants to be treated fairly. I want to feel like my sons and daughters can go out and be treated as fair as anyone else, right? Because their safety matters. All of our kids' safety matters.
Right.
So who's to say your kid's safety doesn't matter? My kid's safety does. I mean, what person would do that? Who in their right mind wouldn't want that for their kids? So let's make it happen.
Do you get the feeling that we are actually going to have major change? We're on the verge of it. I felt like, we had some change in the 60s. I'm old enough to remember that. We had change, but there's so much more that needs to be done. It feels like there is a change coming. Do you feel that? Or does it feel the same to you?
Well, I certainly hope so, Matt, because they say there'll be no peace, no justice, no peace. So there has to be some change. It's common sense. If this country is to be what it's supposed to be, and it's the best country in the world, we need to live together. We need to coexist. We need to make it fair for everyone. What's good for you should be good for me. And that's the way it should work, right? And so
exactly.
I truly believe that, Matt, and hopefully we'll get it right. It's not a political thing. This is about human rights. And so that's what makes it so common sense. Just do the right things.
We lost Congressman John Lewis a few days ago. There's a man right there that put it on the line every day. Ooh. He wasn't just standing up for Black people. He was standing up for, like you say, people in the human race.
Well, and that's what these civil rights icons have always done. They get accused of only standing up for Black people. They're standing up for equality and justice for all people who've been discriminated against. And this country has a long history of discrimination. So let's make it right so these things are in place so the next generation won't have to deal with the stupidity. Because that's what it is. It's all about stupidity. And the reason I say stupidity is you show me a person that actually had the right to say how he wanted to come into this world. There's not one.
Right.
You are born into the family you had nothing to do with it. So why would you discriminate against someone else when they have nothing to do with it themselves? We're all part of the human race. It's stupidity.
I agree, Clyde, wholeheartedly. Let's talk a little basketball. Russell Westbrook got through protocol. He's in camp. They almost had everyone in there. What do you think of the Rockets' chances? You watched, you sat there, and you did analysis during those games as they kind of reinvented themselves halfway through the season. What do you think of their chances to win it all in this sprint to the finish line?
That's a good question, Matt. I think, first of all, you're going to have to say who's healthy and who's on the floor. So, think about it. In this environment, in the bubble, your best player, if he's injured, you go from being a favorite to not even being in the top four. So, first of all, who's on the floor? We don't know until that time comes, right? But obviously the Lakers and the Bucks and the Clippers are the favorites. The Rockets are outside dark horse. And, you never when you got a player like James Harden and Russell Westbrook, you can never count those guys out because they compete night in and night out. But the favorites are going to be the Clippers, Lakers, and the Bucks. And Rockets are going to have a shot if they play well. And we can't wait to see what's going to happen. I just hope it goes safely without anybody getting injured, sick, accidentally dying, or this could, my hands are crossed, and I'm just hoping that it goes well.
Clyde, where will you be doing the AT&T broadcast from? Over at the AT&T studios, or how will you be involved?
Hey, I'm not going to the bubble. Let me just tell you that right now. You got no chance of that.
I understand that.
We're too old for that. Hey, I'm staying at home where it's safe. But I'm not doing the games, Matt. They're doing them, and I am officially on vacation, and hopefully we'll get ready for the next season in December or whenever it happens. But as far as this summer, basketball is on the shelf. I'm postponed.
I got you. Well, I know you'll be watching. You won't miss the action. I know that because you love watching. You said that they're on the outside. You named the favorites. Can you imagine going into battle without a true center?
No, not at all. But think about the Lakers. They got Anthony Davis at 6'11" with arm span of a 7'2" guy. You got JaVale McGee. You got Dwight Howard. JaVale McGee is 7'2". Dwight Howard is 6'11". You got all these big guys, and then you got guys like LeBron, Danny Green. They're 6'8", 6'7". All these guys are huge. Kyle Kuzma, 6'10". I mean, everybody's big and the Bucks are just as big on the other end. And the Clippers are huge. It's like, so to compete with those guys, you're going to need what? Height. You're going to need some height. And that's not a secret. It's been that way for many years.
Yeah, no secret about that. I remember you would say, well, if we were stuck on what played, let's just dump it into Akeem and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Akeem 6'11", he can get his shot off against anybody. He's a true superstar, and he's a gamer. And so you need those big guys to come through for you, not only in the offensive end, but more importantly on the defensive end. You need rim protectors. Otherwise, guys like me, if you don't have a center out there, I'm going to the basket every time. I'm not even thinking about a jump shot.
When I see Russ attack the rim at times, I think of you. I think that's what set you apart when Phi Slamma Jamma, and then it set you apart. You took it into the NBA. I mean, do you see yourself when you see Russ attack the rim like that?
Well, Russ plays with that same vigor. I mean, he plays that intensity, that energy. I was a little bit bigger hands, so I could take it off the dribble and put it in the air. But Russ is as tough and as mean, as quick, and as talented as anybody in the game today. And I love watching him play.
No, he's so much fun to watch. Hey, did you watch any of the greatest? You played with Michael Jordan, came up just short of the MVP trophy there in '92, I believe it was. What did you think if you watched it? And do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I haven't watched it yet, Matt, and I'm sure that's Michael's opinion and his perspective. And those were golden eras. I mean, we were super competitive. You knew we were coming after you every night. So if you got that jersey on, just know you better come to play. But those are the best memories ever. Those guys were incredible players and incredible competition, some great teams, and I wouldn't have it any other way. What a golden era of basketball.
Yeah, take me back to 1992. You had an incredible season, 91-92. You come up second, the MVP. You go to the NBA Finals with the Portland Trailblazers. You fall short against the Bulls. Then you're with the Dream Team in '92. Yeah. Tell me about 1992, Clyde. We all
92 was a good Matt. 92 was a good year, but it was like any other year in my. Think about the 2 years before that. 1990, we're in the finals against the Detroit Pistons. We lose that one, right? Had an MVP candidate that year as well. 1991, we have the best record in the entire league, 63 wins. We lose in the Western Conference Finals to the Lakers, and I'm sure NBC wanted a Michael Magic matchup in the finals. So did that have anything to do with it? No, they were a good team. And then in '92, we go to the finals against the Bulls. We come close, great series. They have a great team, great coach, a lot of Hall of Famers, and they win. And then we go to the Dream Team. And then I'm injured that year, really, even in the finals. I needed a meniscus cartilage repair. And so I had to wait from March until September until I could get it because of the NBA Finals in '92 and the Olympic team in '90. I didn't want to miss them. So I'm out there on 1.5 legs. But it took me 2 years to recover. And when I recovered, I get traded to the Houston Rockets in '95. And Hakeem and I and Rudy and Sam Cassell and Mario Ellie and Kenny Smith, Pete Chilcutt, Charlie Jones, Carl Herrera, Chucky Brown. I mean, think about that. Robert Horry, what a great team. Hakeem the Dream. We win the championship in '95. Those were the best years of my life, man.
I'll tell you, 1995 was so special. I remember sitting with Guy V. Lewis during one of the warm-ups, him watching you guys together. It just gave him so much pleasure because you guys came up short, especially in '83. That was so special, 1995,
Well, yeah,
for this city.
Yeah, Guy Lewis was the first one to call me and say congratulations. And he said it felt like it was vindication for all the years that we didn't win it when Hakeem and I won it in '95. And Guy Lewis was one of those guys, he kept up with everything. And he'd call you because you knew he was paying attention, right? And we loved him. I mean, one of the greatest coaches ever in the history of our game, Guy Lewis.
Yeah, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary. I've got a picture up on my wall my producer took of you and I doing an interview, a live shot, right after winning that championship in '95. Has it been 25 years?
Hey, did we have hair then?
We actually did. Here's where we grow it right now, Clyde.
Oh yeah, it'll grow all day there, right? But you couldn't give me hair now. Think about how much you save on shampoo. Come on.
We were talking about those earlier years, and they were fantastic when the Blazers were having those great teams. But 1995, was that your favorite season?
Well, that was my favorite season. One, I was reunited with Hakeem, and we had so much success in college. And then, to come home to Houston and win it right away, are you kidding? That's something out of a storybook. Those things don't happen because, basketball is not like tennis or golf. The best players don't always win. You need to be on a team that's good enough to win it all. And the key word is team. Matt, you can have 50 points, 40 rebounds, but if I don't make the 2 free throws and we lose the game, are you a loser? No. Well, you are really, but are you really a loser? No. So that's why it's a team game. You can't ever categorize basketball like golf or tennis. So you got to be on a team that's good enough to win it all. And that '95 team, let me tell you, that's a team for the ages. It will stand the test of time against any team in the history of our game.
Yeah, that's when people say, well, Michael wasn't really Michael that year. I was like, you know what? Okay.
Don't believe that.
You can say whatever you want.
I don't think he changed his name. So well, who was he?
Yeah, who was he? That NBA championship series, you almost lose game 1. It was, oh my gosh, it was teetering on the brink. And
it was hard, Matt, because you had a real strong Orlando team with Penny Hardaway, who was a phenomenal player. Shaquille O'Neal, another phenomenal player, Hall of Fame, one of the top 50. I mean, these guys were young. They were very talented. They were big. Dennis Scott. They had Nick Anderson. They had Horace Grant. That was the starting 5. They were well coached, and they had just beaten up on the Bulls, and so they were riding the high. And so they were beating us by 20 or 25 points in game 1 in Orlando. We came back somehow and won that game, and the whole perspective changed for those guys. And the narrative was, well, these guys are young. They're going to have a dynasty for the next 10, 15 years. So even if they don't win it this year, they're going to have many more opportunities. Well, we all know those opportunities don't come when you think they are going to come. And so you have to seize the moment.
Yeah. And I was sitting there courtside, and I'm thinking, what has happened to the Rockets? I'm like, they're going to get hot and something's going to turn. And you guys did. Of course, Kenny came up huge.
Kenny Smith.
And you were making plays all over the place. And it was like once you beat them in game 1, the air was out of the balloon and they couldn't find anything after that.
Well, Matt, it's hard to recover from such a devastating loss in a big game like the NBA Finals. Game 1, at home, you're up 20, 25 points, and you come away with the L, you lose that game. Let me tell you something. That's the most deflating thing you could ever go through in a team sport. And now you have to face that team tomorrow. And then after that, you go to their place for 3 games. Oh, my God, you're talking about insurmountable. And for a young team with not a lot of experience to go through that, a veteran team would have handled that very differently. But a young team, you just never know how they're going to handle it. And thank God we didn't give up. We kept putting the metal to the pedal. But Kenny Smith, with that 3-pointer to send it to overtime, one of the biggest shots of his life. I mean, we were so happy. I mean, Nick Anderson missed 4 straight free throws. They were up by 3 points. All he got to do is make one. He misses the first 2, and the rebound goes over my head. He gets it back, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, there was our chance. I said, no way he's going to miss these 2. Well, he missed those 2 as well. We don't call timeout after the miss. Kenny Smith gets the ball. He dribbles down to the 5, 4, 3, 2. He dribbles to the 3-point line. He pump fakes Penny Hardaway, who's guarding him, 6'7" and big and long, very good athlete. He goes for the pump fake and goes by. That leaves Kenny Smith with a wide open 3 with 1 second left. He knocks it down in the buzzer rate. And I'm thinking, is that overtime? Yes. Can you imagine that, though? I mean, that's something out of the – that will never happen again in the history of our game, ever.
I sat there and watched it, couldn't believe it. And then the way you won it, didn't Rudy call a play for you in overtime to win the thing? And
yeah. Well, we got the ball. We got the last second shot. I think we got 6, 8, 7, 8, 9 seconds. And, of course, it's going to be a high pick and roll, and I'm going to try to attack the basket. And if Shaq comes, I'm going to try to get it to Hakeem some kind of way. But when he came, he was so big, man. He was like a big old Sasquatch. I mean, he was huge, and he could jump. And I'm thinking, wow, I just got to – there's no time, so I didn't have time to make a pass. So it was like 2 seconds. So I said, let me try to finger roll it over the top of him. So I had to throw it up real high because he was up so high so quickly. I didn't want him to block my shot. So I threw it up extra high, and it hit the rim so soft. And when it came down, Hakeem was at the rim by himself. And he just politely tapped it in. And he walked around like, oh, it's probably too late. And I said, no, dude, that counts. We win. He said, we win? He said, yes. I mean, that was an improbable win in so many ways. But that best exemplifies the 95 championship. Because Rudy, I mean, it was totally a team effort from Kenny Smith to Sam Cassell coming off the bench, Mario playing great defense, Robert Horry playing great defense and playing hard offensively. Hakeem got in a little foul trouble, remember? But when he came back, he was the dream, right? And so everybody contributed, and when you win those types of games, it just makes you feel good. I mean, the city, when we came back home, the city had out all those brooms, and now there's a lot of pressure to finish them off, right? But our fans in Houston are the best in the world, and they really knew how to handle that situation.
Oh, it's fantastic. Congratulations. Happy silver anniversary on the 95 championship.
It doesn't get any better, man. Hey, we hope to be around for the next 25 years, right?
That's right. That's so right. Okay, so can you pick a winner for me of the shortened season?
Man, it's going to be hard. It depends on who's healthy, man. It's going to be hard to see who's going to stay healthy. What if LeBron gets the virus, a week before the championship? What do? If you're the Lakers? What if Antetokounmpo gets it, the Greek freak? I mean, it's like, what if Kawhi Leonard gets it? That changes everything. And so you just have to wait and see. You know who the favorites are. We know who we're rooting for is our Rockets, but we'll see what happens.
All right, Clyde. Thanks so much, buddy.
All right, Matt. Anytime, man. You're looking good.